Hi, this is Scott Montgomery of the Small Town Mercer. Welcome to my video Materialism versus Wealth. Here's materialism and here's wealth. Maybe I should put a little underline. God, I hate this pen, it sticks. So anyway, I'm not going to use it for the rest of the video anyway, so we'll just leave it there. Okay, so today I'm going to go over the differences between a society that's doomed to failure and a society that lasts for a long time. And I think we're at that tipping point right now. So this is April of 2021. We've just had a couple of news items that happened to, I was recording this video earlier today and I decided, yesterday, and I decided to scrap it because I knew that we were going to have a couple of things come up. We had a murder trial of a police officer, Derek Chauvin, so this is that time period. And then the other thing is DC Statehood that's coming up. So I kind of want to show you how this is going to fit into all that. So I want to go over materialism. So you're probably thinking materialism, wealth are kind of intertwined. And in reality, they're not. This is the attitude of materialism. This is the attitude of wealth. So that's the big difference here. Let's see, I'll probably write this. This is called the attitude of these things. All right? And my board is too wobbly. I can't write that far out. But anyway, so this is the attitude of these. So number one, these are Sikhs, and I should have wrote 6 Sikhs in green here. And so materialism seeks. Number one, instant victories. Wealth seeks, number one, permanent victories. So instant victories. Well, if we go into, let's say, the Chauvin murder case. Okay, I don't think a lot of people think that the officer is innocent. I don't think a lot of people think that he intended to murder the George Floyd person. All right? So, but, that seems to be a debate. But it's something that people who seek instant victories claim will happen because they want to curry political favor. So they want to convince you that yes, this happens, therefore you need government officials to rule over your life so that we can fix all of these societal perceived ills. And in reality, no, they won't. They'll actually won't solve any of them. Once they have power, you don't matter anymore. And that's why when you get over to the wealth side, you want permanent victories. Permanent victories are those that realize that what was right and what was wrong. So in the case of the Chauvin case, what was wrong? What can we all agree that was wrong? The way the procedure was done. So if you want to change the procedure, fine. But to pretend that this was all done out of racist hate is just ignorance. And it's what people on the materialistic side who want quick victories, who also, when I get down to political victories, this is what they want because they don't really want to solve problems. They want power. And they want power at your expense. And that's why instant victories are important because we don't have the wherewithal, the intelligence, or the ability to have permanent victories. Permanent victories are things that are hard fought and it takes time to achieve. It's like a baseball team that, or a football team that has a really good year and they win a lot of games. And then the very next year, they go back down to earth and are a terrible team for years to come because they were only interested in quick victories. I can give a baseball analogy. I remember The Kansas City Royals have been a team. I don't want to pick on them, but they've been a team for years and years that have not been very good. And then all of a sudden, 2014 and 2015, they were able to put together a couple of decent years and they won the world championship. But now they're back to being not so good, although this year they're starting to come around. This is 2021. But for years they just wanted to have quick victories to make a profit, sell the team, or whatever they wanted to do. But they don't have the wherewithal to be good each and every year. Now I'm going to compare that to, let's say, the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll stay in the same city. This is a team that hired a coach that a few years ago was considered somebody who could win regular season games but not win in the playoffs. Well, the last couple of years they've drafted well. They've put together a bunch of players that can win, and they've gone to 2 Super Bowls now. Okay, they've won one of them. So this is a team that was interested in the long haul, a culture of winning. Okay, so that's the difference. And it took them a long time to get there. All right? So do you want instant victories or do you want permanent victories? Okay. Money over matter. What does this mean? Well, matter is a long-term permanent solution. I put, a source of sustenance, in other words. So a lot of people, the old analogy that I used is in the Bible. Do you want to teach someone to fish, or do you just want to give them fish? Do you want to, give me fish, I'm hungry now. Well, how are you going to take care of that in the future if you don't know how to fish? No, I'll just take a little bit of food now, teach me how to fish, and I will be able to support myself forever. And that's matter over money. This is in the wealth side. Teach me how to fish. Don't just give me fish. Someday, the person who gives you the fish won't be around. Then what are you going to do? You're going to scrounge for weeds on the ground? I doubt it. The same is true for money over assets, assets over money. Okay, building up wealth is what assets over money is. Getting a bunch of money, spending it on a good time every weekend or whatever, not saving enough money, putting everything on your credit card, owing a lot of money, not having much of anything, and the minute you get $1, you spend it on some fancy fandangled thing, right? That's money over assets. Okay? The attitude of wealth is assets over money. If you can acquire an asset that you're going to hold on to for a very long time, a house, something of value, gold, stocks, whatever, something of value that you're going to hold on to forever. Then when you get a little older, you'll have security. And then when you've learned to be moderate about things like partying or having a good time, then you accumulate and build wealth, then you can have as much as you want to at some point, instead of blowing it all and not having anything at the end when you need it. Political victories or rule of law. Okay, our founding fathers could have had easy, cheap political victories. Yeah, we overthrew the King of England. Now I want to be king. King George Washington. No, they said no, we're not interested in that. We're interested in having our society that preserves itself forever and ever and ever. It's not about us, it's about future generations. So the rule of law. Everybody works. When you work, you get rewarded for it. If you work honestly and hard and take care of the people around you generally will take care of you. Now, does this always happen? No. But if most people engage in that behavior, most people will be rewarded. Or you can have political victories. You can do stunts like the DC Statehood thing. That's a stunt. Why is it a stunt? Because the District of Columbia is the federal capital. If the federal capital is a state, that becomes a far more important state than the rest of the country. And so the rest of the country will be subservient to the federal government. If that happens, what happens next? Usually what happens next is revolution after civil war, after revolution, after civil war, after revolution, after civil war. Then you turn into South America, then you turn into Lebanon, then you turn into Syria or Afghanistan or any number of those places where people walk around and get blown up every day. And that includes politicians. Is that what you want for this country? Do you want to have that kind of a corrupt system? Because if DC becomes a state, that's what you will have. You will literally have civil war, probably for 20, 30 years. And there'll be a lot of dead people, especially a lot of dead politicians. I mean, we could play this game all day, right? You can have, let's say you have DC as a state. Oh, I'm not going to write it down. I'm just going to explain it. So you have DC as a state. Well, way back when the District of Columbia was thought up, you got to remember that they took part of Maryland and part of Virginia to make the district. What if the state of Virginia decided, you know what, we're going to secede and we're going to give the Northern Virginia portion back to Washington, D.C. And we're going to form our own state. Then what? Are you going to stop them from doing that? Well, constitutionally, we can, because if the governor is of one party and the people want to secede from the other, then we can vote them down and let them do it. Is that going to stop them from seceding? Is that going to stop them from doing what the South did in the Civil War and enacting the Kentucky and Virginia resolutions? No. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. So if this is what you want civil wars? I think some political people who want to push the DC statehood button as well as other things, they do want that because they welcome that, because it's like, well, then we can go around saying that we're defending the Constitution and we're preserving the Union and all that stuff. Well, but you're not. You caused the constitutional crisis in the first place by usurping power, by coming up with an unconstitutional measure that gives the capital of the United States priority over all other states by having the district be its own state. That means it's above and beyond all other states in reality. So other states could just secede. Why can't they? Because we're not going to have any political say or power, so why should we stay a part of the Union? Okay, well then because you're breaking the Constitution, we're gonna what the South would call invade. They're invading our territory. And what happens if the Union forces lose? Then what? Then you got a mess, because now you've got a confederation all over again, just like we had back when we fought our first revolution, back in 1776, 1783. We have a confederation. Okay? How's that going to work out? It's not. We're going to be like Lebanon or Syria or some of the other tin horn South American or African nations. So what do you want? Do you want to have political power, or do you want to have the rule of law? Finally, self-preservation or social preservation. Is your power and yourself more important than the country? Well, some political parties think that, yes, they are. Some people in those political parties think, yes, they are. Power is more important than the country. Social preservation says the opposite. Okay? Now, where am I going with all of this? What am I trying to prove? Well, I'm trying to prove only one thing, and that is this: that all of this is the result of a fiat world. In a fiat world, only the powerful, let me use the blue pen. In a fiat world, right, only the powerful have control of what? They have control of the money. And because they have control of the money, they can control the laws, they can control the economy, and above all, they can control all the people. So it's almost like a plantation. The guy in the big house, your government, is like the guy in the big house. And the guy in the big house can whoop you and take from you what he wants. And enrich themselves, all in the premise of what? They're protecting you. They're giving you a meaningful life of hard work and valuable effort, and then free health care and everything that the plantation owner claimed that they were doing back in the day. And in reality, it's all for their own power and their own benefit. Well, so you knew I'd get around to cryptocurrency at some point, and here we are. So cryptocurrency replaces the fiat world. And as such, it erases all of those political consequences because the powerful don't control the money. The people are now on top. The people control the money. And as a result, the people control the politicians and the economy. And since the people are more numerous than these other entities, right? They're more numerous than these. The people are not going to control this because the people are too numerous. So the people are actually a hedge against power usurpation, right? They are preventing the usurpation of politicians over the economy and elite bankers and elite wealth, big industrial giants, the tech giants, all these people who want to control the world, these scientists, that think, okay, yes, I agree with the politician that this is an issue, and they gin up and dummy up science to make it look like, yeah, we need to do all this stuff. Okay? No, the people are going to be in control of that. And since the people are far more numerous than all these other entities, the people can actually prevent hegemonies like bankers and the politicians and central banking and all that, ruining and running the lives of millions of people, running them into poverty. So now there's no more plantation. You do your own farming. You do your own work. As I said in the very last video I made, you have the power now. You feed yourself. You are in control of the money. You are in control of your food. You are in control of those things. The politicians just make sure that it's preserved, that your rights, if you work hard and do the right thing, you are rewarded and not punished, as opposed to corrupt politicians telling you how things should work in their perverted world. Well, in my perverted world, I'm right, and whatever I feel like saying the laws are bad, then the laws are bad, and they need to be changed because I said so, and therefore they accommodate me and not the people of this country. So in the crypto world, as opposed to the fiat world, and we're going to call it the hard currency world, or crypto. And again, I always say crypto because I'm not sure which cryptos are going to be there at the end. But that's another series of videos that I'm going to be doing in the future. But in the crypto world, when that's adopted, the people are going to control the politicians and not the other way around. And that's why crypto needs to be adapted, sooner than later. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. I'll be doing future videos that address some of these issues in a more detailed version. this is kind of a thumbnail. So anyway, I've gone 20 minutes, and that's all I want to go in the future. So thank you for watching. This is Scott Montgomery of the Small Town Mercer. Have a blessed day.